Shalom. I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, never well. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. Shalom. All right. The title says it all, man. Esau says it's real, so now it's real. All right. And I say this because I have this article right here. All right. And this is CNN. It says Pentagon officially releases UFO videos. Okay. Now these videos were already released earlier, a couple months back, matter of fact, because I've seen these same UFO videos
Coronavirus.
before.
Stay informed with the facts. Join Dr. Sanjay.
All right, I've seen these same UFO videos before. You know. And there was actually one article that said that, yes, we've known about them, but you weren't supposed to know. It's like they said the Navy said something like that. Like, yeah, we've known about them, but you weren't supposed to know. But really, Esau has been known about the chariots since really the time of the Maccabees and even before that. All right, because in the book of Maccabees, what does it say? It talked about what? The horsemen running in the skies. All right. This is 2 Maccabees 5. I'll start at verse 1. About that same time, Antiochus prepared his second voyage into Egypt. And then it happened that through all the city for the space of almost 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air. What are those talking about? The horsemen is talking about the chariots, in cloth of gold and armed with lances like a band of soldiers. All right. Let's look up what a lance is real quick. Okay. Slock. Right, spears. It's pretty much like a spear, you know? But the chariots have weaponry as well. All right. Now, I'm speaking on a personal testimony, okay? When I was actually going back one time, the brother Yeshai was taking me back home, and we saw a chariot on the expressway on the way back, and we saw it up close. Now, keep in mind, this was daytime when we saw it, so it was like the sunlight was reflecting off the chariot. And the way I could describe the chariot to you, the outside of the chariot looked like a samurai armor, pretty much. Like it was plated like a samurai armor, you know? If I could find it real quick. Like, if you ever seen a samurai's armor, it's plated. It has like metallic plates on it. I'm trying to find like a decent picture, you know. But that's basically how it was. Yeah, kind of like this, but it was metallic, if you will, and it was plated like that. And that's what the chariot, that was what, at least what that specific chariot looked like. Now, the chariots come in all shapes and forms, but that's the point, you know. So it said it was clothed in gold. Well, the scriptures actually talk about how the chariots, they have feathers of gold, if you will. Psalm 68:13, though ye have lion among the pots, ye shall be as the wings of a dove covered with silver and her feathers with yellow gold. Right, and the Lord is going to defend us. The scriptures say in Isaiah 31 and verse 5, it says what? As birds flying, so will the Lord Yahweh of hosts defend Jerusalem, man. Okay, and the chariots, they take on the formation of birds migrating, you know, when they come in. All right, as well, you know, they fly. Okay, of course. You know what I'm saying? So those feathers of gold really just represents how the chariots, man, represents the chariots. All right, and in Psalms 91, it also tells you what? It tells you that the Lord will cover us with his feathers, man, and under his wings we shall trust. Roughly paraphrasing, Psalms 91, starting at I'll start at verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And we do dwell in the secret place of the Most High. The secret place of the Most High is this truth. Amos 3:7. I will say of the Lord Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence, which is talking about the missiles. He shall cover thee with his feathers. We just went into those feathers. Under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. And the Lord's truth is a defense for us, like a shield and buckler. All right. It says, under his wings shalt thou trust. Why? What are those wings that we're talking about? The chariots. You know, the chariots, man. Okay. Now let's just go ahead and keep playing this video. All right, but that's the thing. Esau says it's real, so now it's real. You know, but meanwhile, the Lord has had his men on the highways and hedges for years going into the chariots. Okay, for years, decades. You know, but it doesn't. But what we're saying is crazy. You know, but when Esau says it, yep, UFOs are real. Jake eats it up, man. All right. Now this is actually the truth. Esau is actually telling the truth for once. You know, and I'm just gonna get into this article real quick. This is a long article. All right. But the thing is, you know, I just wanted to pull this up because you have it right here in CNN. Even though, you know, the news media is bullshit, but CNN is credible. You know what I'm saying? Credible meaning that it's believable. It can be believed. All right. And like I said, that's basically what I mentioned in the beginning of the video. The Navy previously acknowledged the veracity of the videos in September of last year. Yeah, these videos are a couple months old. They are officially releasing them now in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that has been circulating was real or whether or not. Right, because what? The chariots have been showing themselves more and more to where the point that they can't hide it anymore. All right, let's go to Zechariah 5 real quick. Esau can't hide the chariots anymore, and that's prophecy. So that's why he has to go and admit the footage to the Navy. But really, Esau, like I mentioned earlier, they've known about the chariots since the time of the Maccabees, but really even before that, man. The technology of the chariots has been since the beginning of the world, okay? But nevertheless, they've known about the chariots even before the time of the Maccabees, okay? They've known about the chariots since the time of Egypt and even before that, man. You know, but it is documented in the scriptures that in the time of Maccabees, they saw the chariots. All right. And the Lord actually had angels come down from the chariots and put a beating on Heliodorus, man, or Heliodorus, you know. And Lord, will we get the scripture on that next? Zechariah 5, starting at verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then he said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth over the face of the whole earth. So the chariots are all over the world. All right. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off on that side according to it. And I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, Lord Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. The house of the thief is talking about what? Esau, Edom. All right. Esau, Edom. Okay. He represents the thief. And talking about the house of the thief, talking about what? America. This is Job 18, starting at verse 15. Barakatah Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, it shall dwell in his tabernacle, talking about the missiles, because it is none of his. This is not Esau's tabernacle. America is stolen land. Okay, it says brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation, as well as what? The missiles. The missiles are going to be shot off on Babylon as well. That's why it tells you in Isaiah 66 and 15, the Lord cometh with his chariots and with fire, man. Upon the wicked, Psalms 11 and 6, upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone. This shall be the portion of their cup. The Lord is going to rain the missiles upon Esau. All right. He says shall be in the tabernacle of the thief, man. And Esau is a thief. All right. He stole America, and he also has stolen many other things. Let's get this real quick. Job chapter 20, starting at verse 15. It says, he hath swallowed down riches. He shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. All right. Right. Esau has swallowed down riches, man. Okay. Plenty of riches. Part of his riches is what? Taking America, as well as putting the children of Israel in slavery. Verse 16, he shall suck the poison of asps, the viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. Meaning he's not going to see a good life like he's planning on it, man. He's not going to see that new world order like he's planning on it, man. All right, his form of paradise. Verse 18, that which he labored for shall he restore. All right, so all your labors, Esau, you're going to restore them. All right, we're going to get our reparations from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, and shall not swallow it down according to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he hath oppressed and forsaken the poor, the Israelites, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. And that goes back to the curses as well. All right. And it says what? It said what? All right. It shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. It shall dwell in the house of the thief. That's Zechariah 5. You know? All right. Esau did not build this house. And that also goes back to the curses. The Lord said what? You will build a house, but you will not dwell in it. All right. There you go. That's the point. All right. That's the point that I wanted to hit. Now I want to go back to Zechariah 5. Zechariah 5. In verse 3, then Slakia, verse 4, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. In God we trust, you know, God bless America, but yet they go and legalize gay marriage. Yet they're going to go push this RFID chip. Yet they're pushing vaccines. Yet they're pushing people to do and commit all types of folly. All right. You know. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. So the chariots are going to destroy America along with the missiles, man. Okay? Now, I want to go ahead and get this real quick. Because like I said, even in the time of Maccabees, Esau knew about the chariots, man. Esau's been known about the chariots, okay? It's really Jake who's just starting to figure out about the chariots. 2 Maccabees 5:2. And then it happened that through all the city for the space of almost 40 days, where they're seen horsemen running in the air in cloth of gold and armed with lances like a band of soldiers, and troops of horsemen in array, encountering and running one against another, with shaking of shields and multitude of pikes, and drawing of swords and casting of darts, and glittering of golden ornaments. Golden ornaments? Did not I just go into the samurai armor? You know, let's look up a golden ornament real quick. I just want to, because the chariots, they have that metallic like material, you know. It's almost like a form of metallic. You see it, golden ornament, you know. And we read about how they have gold feathers, you know. Let me see if I can see something real quick. Gold samurai armor. Let's see if I can find it. And now the chariot that I personally saw with the brother Yeshaya, it was like a silver color. It was like a silverish color. But you see how it's like plated? That was what it kind of looked like that. It looked like a plated, outside on the chariot, something like this, like how his girdle looks like. It was plated, but it was like a silver color. It could have been gold, because it definitely was glittering off the sunlight. It was Yapah. And we saw it for a second, and then the chariot flew away, and it ended up coming back. And then I told the brother, I was like, yo! And then we was like, oh, snap, there really is a chariot. Because when we first saw it, we was like, what the hell? Because it was just sitting there in the sunlight, just glittering in the sun, But then it went away, and then it came back, and we was like, call I am like how about Shemi Al-Shai. We knew it was a chariot then. It says, and harness of all sorts. All right. Wherefore every man prayed that apparition might turn to good. Right. They was like, oh shit, we hope these chariots, are here for good. And they don't fucking put a beat down on us, man. All right. Now there's a scripture with Heliodorus. Heliodorus got jumped by some angels, man, and they whooped his ass. But see, Esau's been known about the chariots, and best believe Esau knows about, the chariots and his forefathers' accounts. Esau knows about the book of Maccabees, so on and so forth, man. Okay? Esau knows about that, Let me go ahead and read the account real quick. All right. It says, man, we could really read this whole chapter, but I'm not going to read it for the sake of the lesson. So I'm just going to go straight to the point. 2 Maccabees 3, starting at verse 22. It says, they then called upon the Almighty Lord to keep the things committed of trust safe and sure for those that had committed them. Nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which was decreed. Right. And you can read about earlier what he decreed. Okay. I'll just go ahead and read it. Second Maccabees 3, starting at verse 1. Now when the holy city was inhabited with all peace, and the laws were kept very well because of the godliness of Onias, the high priest, and his hatred of wickedness, it came to pass that even the kings themselves did honor the place and magnified the temple with their best gifts, insomuch that Seleucus of Asia of his own revenues bare all the cost of belonging to the service of the sacrifices. Um, skipping down. All right. Here we go. Verse 7. Now when Apollonius came to the king and had shewed him of the money whereof he was told, the king chose out Heliodorus his treasurer and sent him with the commandment to bring him the foresaid money. So forthwith Heliodorus took his journey under a color of visiting the cities of Seleucia and Phoenice, and indeed to fulfill the king's purpose. And when he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteously received of the high priest of the city, he told him what intelligence was given of the money, and declared wherefore he came, and asked if these things were so indeed. Then the high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and fatherless and children, talking about the tithes, all right, because that's what the tithe money is for, and that some of it belonged to Hyrcanus, the son of Tobias, a man of great dignity, and not as that wicked Simon had misinformed, the sum whereof in all was 400 talents of silver and 200 of gold, and that it was altogether impossible that such wrong should be done unto them that had committed it to the holiness of the place and to the majesty and inviolable sanctity of the temple, honored all over all the world. But Heliodorus, because of the king's commandment given him, said that in any wise it must be brought into the king's treasury. All right. So at the day which he appointed, he entered into order this matter, wherefore there was no small agony throughout the whole city. All right. But the priests prostrating themselves before the altar in their priest vestments called unto heaven upon him that made a law concerning things given to he kept, that they should safely be preserved for such as had committed them to be kept. All right, now I'm going to skip down. All right. Then they called upon the Almighty Lord to keep the things committed of trust safe and sure for those that had committed them. Nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which was decreed. So Heliodorus kept pushing on to take the riches. Verse 24. Now, as he was there present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of spirits, this is the Most High, all right, the Most High Yahweh, it says, and the Prince of all power caused a great apparition. All right, meaning what? The chariot showed up. So that, because apparition simply means to appear or an appearance. All right, now you're gonna have strange apparitions in these last days, like they had in ancient Egypt during the time of the Passover, you know, and the plagues and so on and so forth. But apparition simply means to appear. So you have left hand apparitions and you have right hand apparitions. This happened to be a right hand apparition. All right, so that all that presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of the Most High, and fainted and were sore afraid. Right, because the chariots are dreadful, and Ezekiel tells you how that the rings are dreadful. Talking about the chariots. The chariots can be very scary looking, especially when you don't understand them. Verse 25. Even when you do understand them, they can be scary looking. And speaking off of personal testimony, one time I was in my backyard just training, and I saw a chariot. It was like an amber color, kind of like it said in the book of Ezekiel. And it flew down, it flew down at an angle, but it flew fast as shit. And I knew it was a chariot too, but I was still afraid, man. So just imagine in that day when Yahushua comes back with that fathership and the heavenly host with him, man. That's going to be a very fearful day. That's why it tells you in Luke 21, men's heart failing them for fear, man. Okay, verse 25. And call Halayim La Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, that the Lord will even allow me to see a sight like that, man. You know, verse 25, for there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering, because the chariots have a nice glitter to them, man. All right, and they shine bright. Okay, and he ran fiercely. Okay, because the chariots move fast, and the angels move fast too, and smote at Heliodorus with his feet, and it seemed that he sat upon the horse, had complete harness of gold. Okay, right, because the chariots, they come in gold, they come in silver, and I'm sure they have other colors that they come in as well. Verse 26, moreover, two other young men appeared before him, notable in strength, excellent in beauty. Talking about the angels, okay? The angels are like I said, notable in strength, excellent in beauty, and comely in apparel, all right? Right. They have that pure white clothing, man, you know? And the angels be decked out. It says, who stood by him on either side and scourged him continually and gave him many sore stripes. They were whooping Heliodorus' ass, man. And Heliodorus fell suddenly unto the ground and was compassed with great darkness. But they that were with him took him up and put him into a litter. And they beat him. They damn near beat him to death, man. Thus him that lately came with a great train and with all his guards into the said treasure they carried out, being unable to help himself with his weapons. And manifestly they acknowledge the power of the Most High, right? Esau, you know that the chariots are the Most High's angels as well. And you know that those are the vehicles of the heavens, all right? And like you said, you know, not unable to help himself with his weapons. That, hey, guess what? Just because your weapons may have modified doesn't mean you're going to be able to help yourself in this weapon in this time coming with Yahweh Shai coming back with the angels, man. All right, you saw the video. I know you saw the video, Esau, with them chariots in Iran, and they were shooting them big bullets at the chariots in Iran. What was the chariot doing? It was just dancing around those bullets, man. Okay? Just dancing around those bullets. So you're going to be unable to help yourself with your weapons, man. All right? I don't care if your weapons can lock on with the target and acquire the target. None of that. The chariots can cloak themselves, too. All right, and they can make sure that they don't show up on your radar too. They just show up on your radar just to fuck with you. And matter of fact, I read an article about, you know, basically the Air Force seeing a chariot, and one dude was saying in an account how he could not see the chariot whatsoever, but he knew that it was under him because it was on his radar. Hey, that's what he said. He said he couldn't see it though, but he knew it was there because it was showing up on his radar. All right, so the chariots can cloak themselves, man. Verse 29. And matter of fact, there's an account like that in the scriptures, and I'm going to get it, Lord's will. 2 Maccabees 3:29. For he by the hand of the Most High was cast down and lay speechless without all hope of life, because the angels damn near beat him to death. But they praised the Lord that had miraculously honored his own place for the temple, which a little afore was full of fear and trouble. When the Almighty Lord appeared, was filled with joy and gladness. Then straightway certain of Heliodorus' friends prayed Onias that he would call up upon the Most High to grant him his life, who lay ready to give up the ghost. Right, so Heliodorus' friends was asking Onias, like, yo, please pray for Heliodorus that the Most High don't take his life, because the angels damn near beat him to death, man. Is that he was ready to give up the ghost. So the high priest, suspecting lest the king should misconceive that some treachery had been done to Heliodorus by the Jews, offered a sacrifice for health of the man. Right, kind of like back in the time of Job, you know, when Job's friends was talking shit about Job, and the Most High told Job's friends, you better ask Job to sacrifice for you because you said what you said about Job was wrong, you know, and the Most High was getting ready to put them to death. Now as the high priest was making an atonement, the same young men in the same clothing appeared and stood beside Heliodorus, saying, give Onias the high priest give great thanks. Oh, yo, the angels came back. I'll read it again. 2 Maccabees 3:33. Now as the high priest was making an atonement, the same young men in the same clothing appeared and stood beside Heliodorus. So the angels came back again, and it was like saying, give Onias the high priest great thanks, insomuch for his sake the Lord hath granted thee life. So the angels was like, you better thank Onias because on behalf of him, the Most High granted you your life, you know? And seeing that thou hast been scourged from heaven, meaning the angels put a beat down on you, declare unto all men the mighty power of the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And when they had spoken these words, they appeared no more. Like I said, the angels can cloak themselves, man. All right, they appeared no more, meaning they cloaked themselves and they dipped. Verse 35, so Heliodorus, after he had offered sacrifice unto the Lord, and made great vows unto him that had saved his life, and saluted Onias, returned with his host to the king. Then testified he to all men the works of the great power, which he had seen with his eyes. Now, you see, this is written in the book of Maccabees, but don't you think Esau had his own records at that time? You know, Esau had, because these other nations, they had records as well. You know, they had their own records as well. We have the scriptures for our records, but these other nations, they had their own records as well, man. Okay? And a lot of it lines up with the scriptures, believe it or not. Okay? Because why? The scriptures are true. That's why the scriptures say, that's why the scriptures say the Most High's words are faithful and true. That's why the Most High says it. Write this in the book or write this down because these words are faithful and true, man. Verse 36. Then testified he to all men the works of the great power which he had seen with his eyes. And when the king Heliodorus, who might be a fit man to be sent yet once again to Jerusalem, he said, if thou hast an enemy or traitor, send him thither. Right. Because he's like, shit, if you got someone you don't like, send him to go for you. Because they're going the angels are gonna put a whoop down on him. All right. And thou shalt receive him well scourged. Basically what I just said. If he escape with his life, right. For in that place, no doubt. Jake be saying that. Jake be saying that. No doubt. No doubt. Heliodorus said it. No doubt there is an a special power of Yahweh by Shem Shai. For he that dwelleth in heaven hath his eye on that place. Right. The Most High's eyes are always upon the land of Israel. Okay. And defendeth it. We read earlier in Isaiah 31 how the Most High is going to defend Jerusalem, talking about the people. All right. And eventually he's going to defend the city too. And he beateth and destroyeth them that come to hurt it. Right. 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 And matter of fact, this reminds me of this scripture. He said he beateth and destroyeth them that come to hurt it. Zechariah 14:12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Talking about what? The heat from the missiles, man. All right, but guess what? The chariots can melt you too. The chariots can melt your ass too, man. All right, and I believe a brother had a testimony or a vision about of that, about the chariots melting these two dudes in a car. Okay, so the missiles can melt your ass and the chariots can melt your ass, man. Because the missiles, it's like the chariots shoot out laser beams. But Zechariah 14:12 is going into how the missiles, the radiation missiles gonna burn your skin off. You know? So it said what? He beateth and he beateth it and defendeth Jerusalem, you know? So that's the point, you know? And like I said, the chariots can cloak themselves, and I just wanted to get the account on it. All right. And the chariots are also known as horsemen. There's a few different scriptures on that. But let me get this real quick. Let me get the one with Elijah, Lord willing. This is 2 Kings 13 and verse 14. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died. And Joash, the king of Israel, came down unto him and wept over his face and said, oh, my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof. Talking about the chariots, but that's not the one that I wanted. But yeah, let's get this real quick. Here we go. 2 Kings 2 and 12. Started at verse 11. And it came to pass as they went on and talked that, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire. Talking about the chariots and horses of fire. Okay. And parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Isaiah 66 and 15 tells you what? The Lord's come back with his chariots like a whirlwind, man. Okay. And with fire. You know. Talking about the chariots. Okay, they're likened unto a pillar of fire in the scriptures. Verse 12, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes, and rent them in two pieces. Okay, right. All right. So Elisha was like, yo, you know. All right. And I want to get this real quick. Going into how they can cloak themselves. This is more with us than them. 2 Kings 6, starting at verse 14. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night and compassed the city about. This is literal horses and chariots. Or a matter of fact, I'll say fleshly horses and chariots, okay? carnal ones. Verse 15. And when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And hey, guess what? Esau is getting ready to compass the cities again. You know? Now, this isn't particularly talking about Esau, all right? But still, and Esau's coming in that same spirit. He's going to besiege the cities, man. But guess what? Brothers, keep this in mind. If the Lord was there for Elisha, he's going to be there for us if we be his men. Lord willing, we are. All right, 2 Kings 6 and 15. And when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? Alas, meaning woe, you know. How shall we do? Like, what are we going to do? You know, they got us besieged round about. And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Right. So, because Elisha, through the spirit, he knew the angels was with him. Okay. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord Yahweh, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. So the Lord let the chariots uncloak themselves. And the Lord Yahweh opened the eyes of the young men, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. Okay, right. Okay, that's the point, man. That's the point. So the chariots are always around us, man. Lord's will we be a part of the elect. Let me finish off with this, matter of fact, because this lesson has gone on long enough. Psalms 34 and 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. So the angels are steady around us, man. All right. So yeah, you got this article here, UFOs. Pentagon officially releases UFO videos. But like it said in the article, these videos came out earlier last year in September. Okay, and I'll finish off with these two scriptures, or these couple scriptures. Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 16. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. That's right. You people don't listen to us, man. When Esau says it's true, then it's true. You know, Ecclesiastes or Sirach 13 and 21. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. Right. Okay. Ecclesiastes 13 and 22. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. And that's what you people do to this damn devil. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. Right. We speak wisely, but you people be out here trying to get us off the highways and hedges and could have no place. Verse 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. Right. Oh, let me listen to what Warren Buffett has to say. He gets money, you know. So let me listen to what he has to say. Or that nigga Jay-Z, I gotta watch his interview. You know what I mean? You extol it to the clouds, man. All right. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Right. That's the point. Plain and simple. So, hey, Lord's word, this video was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone that we will. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. All right. And a Baba Ball. Shalom.